Start your week smiling with your friends, Kathy Zant and Michelle Frechette. It's time to get ready for some weekly motivation with WP Motivate. Happy Thursday, Kathy.
Happy Thursday. After the holidays, it's like, what day
I
is
know.
what, who, how? Am I even me? I don't know.
I'm
I
not
don't
going to
know what's
lie.
going on.
I looked up at the corner of my computer to make sure I had the day right when I said it. So, but also Happy New Year.
Happy New Year is right. Yeah, I am looking forward to this year. It's already feeling very different, so
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Me too. And I don't know if it's just the nature of Auld Lang Syne and all of that and like all of the thank God I don't really watch regular TV anymore, but the millions upon millions of Planet Fitness um commercials out there to, get yourself back in order for the new
Oh,
year and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I've been reflecting a lot about the last year for sure. And then
yeah.
setting some soft goals, no hard goals, but setting some soft goals for this year. And but I don't think other people do unless they're following me closely on Twitter. But I officiated a funeral last week for somebody in their 80s who, granted, I still think that's too young to pass. When I was a kid, I thought it was ancient, but now that I'm 55, it's not so ancient anymore, right?
Yeah.
Ooh. But yeah, I officiated a funeral for a man, the husband of a friend of mine who's in her late 70s, and she loved him so much. She was his third wife. They were married 22 years, and she met him on a dating no, she met him on AOL Instant Messenger, I think. Back in the day, she lived in Calgary and he lived here in Rochester, and she met him online and came to meet him, and they hit it off, and she moved here and married the man 22 years ago. How cool is that?
That's pretty sweet.
As a matter of fact, she told me that when his second wife divorced him and left, she took her computer with her, of course. And he
Yeah.
said to his nephew, I got to get me a computer because that's how I heard you can meet women. And it worked.
Oh
It
my
worked.
gosh, that's so funny. That is so
Yeah.
funny.
So anyway, I spent the funeral was Thursday. I spent about 2 hours with her on Wednesday, reminiscing, listening to her talk, crying a little bit with her, and coming out with the right plan for the funeral, the order of events, and the poem that she wanted read. And I spent that night writing just a little bit of a sermon type thing to talk about grief and why we should allow ourselves to have grief, and we don't have to move on right away and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But it really made me think because she got up and she did a 15-minute eulogy, and everybody was laughing, everybody was touched, everybody was like, they were happy tears remembering this man's life and the different things that he had done. But he was also estranged from his two youngest children, who I knew from their childhood, because I knew
Hmm.
his second wife, who didn't come to his funeral, regardless of that. And so it really made me
Wow.
think a lot about, we've talked about legacy before and that kind of thing, but it really made me think less about legacy and more about how I want to live my life so that I don't have people that refuse to come to my funeral. It's fine if people don't want to be there, but not because there's any kind of a wedge between me and them.
Yeah.
I also I also said to Jeff Betancourt, my office mate, I said, if or when I die, it's your job to make sure that Matt Mullenweg comes to my funeral. So I'm living my WordPress life so that everybody wants to be there when I die. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think it would
Oh
happen, but
gosh.
it would be kind of, I mean, I wouldn't know anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But yeah, so it got me thinking a lot about those kinds of things. And last year was the first real get out and not and travel and do that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I had just, I mean, I wrote a post about it and everything, but I had an amazing year as far as travel. There was a lot of things that were personally difficult last year. We have family members that are not doing well physically, and we've talked a little bit about that, but it makes me think about what do I do right with my life? What are the things that I'm doing right with work? How am I using my efforts and my energies? And how can I make sure going forward with this year that I continue to do those things and still be true to myself and the person that I want to be in the world, as opposed to the person that I think other people want me to be or need me to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I think at the end of a year, start of a new one, it's like a good time to just kind of, a lot of people make resolutions and, oh, I'm going to change my entire personality going
I'm
into
going to
this new
join Planet
year.
Fitness.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
Or
not sponsored by
for
Planet Fitness, by the way.
we are not, not even a little. Although Claire has been dragging me. She has made it wasn't like a New Year's resolution, but like a few weeks ago, she just like she wanted to join a gym. And then I'm all right. You know what? For an extra $10, I can join. All right, I'm coming with you. And I've joined the journey with her. It didn't start on New Year's Day, but she said, yeah. So I am sponsored by the burn. We'll just I'm
Feel the burn, Kathy.
I am sponsored by the burn. They sat me down and asked me, what are your goals? What are your fitness goals? And I said, to not die here. That's my fitness goal, to walk out those doors and not die here. And they're just like, young 20 something guys, ha ha ha,
Yeah.
they're all,
Yeah, bulked up and
right.
whatever. And
Yeah.
you're like, that wasn't a joke.
Yeah, it was quite literal. Like,
Of all
and then
the
I
places
like
I
have to
could think
tell
to
them,
die, this isn't it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, look at the intake form in my birthday, do some math and figure out, I am not, we might look like sisters, because I do have like the young look going on, but
You do.
this is my daughter. And I had her, God, where did that daughter come from?
I
Um,
don't know. Like suddenly you're like from Long Island.
Suddenly I'm from Long Island. Um, yeah, I'm like, you know, we're both here. We're gonna get in shape, yes, but we have very different goals. This one, looking at body fat percentage. This one, just looking to walk out, being able to walk out of here. I am, yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, but the end of the year, I am doing sort of an assessment of
okay.
where was I, like thinking back, like where was I a year ago? What have I done in the past year that I want to do more of? What worked, what didn't work, that kind of thing. So I didn't do it on New Year's Day, because New Year's Day I was just kind of like, I really took a break from
Mm.
social media, from being on in front of the computer. I really gave myself a break and just like, it was weird, but I think I really needed it just to kind of like step back.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really do much of anything on New Year's Day. I just kind of, but as I came back to work, I was like, all right, where am I and where do I want to go? And having a
Mm-hmm.
new position too, it's just like I'm kind of in this, I'm not in, what do you mean I don't have to know how to hack WP config together? Like, everything's different now, which is great, but at the same time, it's like, okay, where's the adamant? I'm gonna trip over it. I feel very like a little discombobulated, but also like super motivated to like hit the ground running. So I did an
Yeah.
assessment on myself. What works, what doesn't work, that kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's I feel good about that, because I did make a lot of changes in the last year, like traveling again. I didn't think I was
Mm-hmm.
ever going to, after his stroke, like I was ever going to be able to. And I went to Phoenix with you.
We did. I'm not
I
going
went
this
to,
year. I have major FOMO.
yeah, I wish you were.
Me too.
It's weird not going with, because I am going again this year.
I know I'm happy for
And
you.
yeah, it'll be good. I don't have the same support system I had last year, but I see your cat's tail.
She found the desk. All of a sudden I'm like,
Yay.
cat tail in my face.
That was so funny. Um, I went to WordCamp US. Oh my gosh, that was such a great. Hi, kitty.
There she is.
Oh, she's so pretty. She's the
WordCamp US was
tortie.
awesome. She is a tortie. She's very loud, talkative tortie.
I love
Anyway.
those. They're so fun.
Oh, anyway, yes, WordCamp US was awesome. It was so good to see you and hang out there and in Phoenix. Like I got to see you twice last year. It's pretty
I
awesome.
know. That was great. Although I only got a glimpse of you here and there at WordCamp US, because you were WordCamp Madonna and I was, you know, only got a glimpse here and there of you, but it was so fun.
It was all over the place, but it was fun. It was fun. Um, do you have any major things coming up this year that you're excited about? I've got a couple, but I want to ask you first. Any trips,
I
any
have
goals?
I don't have any trips planned other than
Phoenix.
Phoenix next month.
Yep.
Yeah, I should probably buy some tickets for that and get my stuff together.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to go to Europe, but I'm not going to go unless I have to make some things happen. I'm
Hmm.
definitely going to go to WordCamp US in Portland because I love Portland and
I've
any
never been
excuse to
there.
go. Oh my gosh.
I can't
You're
wait.
going, right? For
Oh yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You have.
Yep. Yep. I'll be
I
there.
am so excited because this last WordCamp US, I wasn't going to go either because it was like, whatever. But then at the last minute, Jack from LearnDash, Jack Hittering was like, you should just go. And I'm like, I think I'm just gonna go and bought the
I should
ticket like
just
right
go.
when I was talking to him. So Jack really Jack is such a good person. I
He
really
is.
adore him. So yeah, so this time though it's much more intentional. It's not like spur of the moment, let's see what happens, let's go do
Hmm.
some things. This year feels a more intentional year. Like
Yeah.
I feel very intentional and like very
Yeah,
sure of myself in a lot of ways.
for sure. Well, I can announce it finally because it's public, but I'm speaking at WordCamp Asia in March. I'm very excited. They haven't put the schedule out yet, but I think we're allowed to say what we're talking about. I'm talking about what underrepresentation means and why allyship matters.
Nice.
And the event takes place over International Women's Day, so I'm very excited about that too.
Oh, nice.
Hmm. Yeah,
Very
and
cool.
I think I have 11 days left to finish my application to speak at WordCamp Europe, so that would be cool if I got picked for that. I'm hoping.
Yeah,
And then I
nice.
don't think I'm going to organize WordCamp US this year. Done it for a number of years.
Yeah,
And
it's a lot.
if I'm not asked because there's a heavy need for my particular skill set, then I'm going to be able to apply to speak at WordCamp US for the first time in years. So that's my goal. It's like I've never spoken there. I've spoken
Yeah.
so many other camps, but I've never spoken at WordCamp US, and I would love to be able to do that.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah, no, you need to do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Portland is so much fun too. I mean,
I
everybody
can't
needs to pull
wait.
out their calendar or their planner or their online whatever and just mark out those dates of when is it again? It's like September.
Yes, 17th to the 19th or something.
Go to WordCamp US in
Yeah,
in Portland.
Portland.
Eventually, it needs to be in Phoenix, especially because that would be way fun. But Portland is a super fun place, and if you've never been to the Pacific Northwest, it is just it's the best. One of my friends traveled. One of my local friends, one of my very few local friends, traveled from uh Oregon, where her in-laws live, and they
Hmm.
drove. And so they drove back and they drove through California and oh, we just passed Mount Shasta and thought we'd say hi. And I'm like, oh, and now you need to go
Oh.
here and here and here and like all of the places. So before WordCamp US in Portland, I'm definitely doing the leave Portland and see a little bit of Oregon. I'll do like an overview. Maybe Bet Hannon, because she lives up there.
Oh
So she
yeah.
lives in Bend. And so she could probably like there's Oregon is such a beautiful place. And it's
Yeah.
not all just
I
Portland.
think
So
Cami McNamara is up that way too. She lives at
yes.
near Alki Beach.
Yeah. Nice.
So,
Yes. Oh, we've got so many people up in the Pacific
mhm.
Northwest.
And
And
I've
here I
never
am
been
thinking
in
I'm
the
special.
Pacific. I've been to San Diego. Or I've been to Los Angeles. That's as far north on the West Coast as I've ever been, which is not north.
Oh,
So I'm very much
yeah.
looking forward to it.
I
Yeah.
miss the West Coast so much. There's so much. I'm so excited. I'm gonna bring Claire. My daughter's gonna come with because we're gonna spend some time in Shasta, seeing some folks and
Oh, perfect.
getting getting back
Yeah.
to getting back home. Both of my kids think they're Californians, which is so weird because one was born in Illinois, the other was born in Texas, and
Yeah.
but they consider themselves like if people ask where they're from, they say Mount Shasta, California, which I think is just perfect.
I
Couple
love
of
it.
hippie kids.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I want to go home.
Well, we're gonna make it out there this year for sure. And so
Yeah.
I'll get to see you at least in one place, if not multiple. Who knows
Yeah.
what other events we might find ourselves at this year, but yeah, you should come to WordCamp Rochester or Buffalo this year.
Yes.
There's an idea.
Yes. Yeah. I have to, my husband's family is all up there. I would love to
Oh,
be able to
cool.
transport him up there so he could see some of his family. Since
Well, that'd
now
be
all of
cool.
a sudden we're apparently Buffalo. I don't watch football, but he's like super
A
into
Bills
it
fan?
this year. I have known this man for 18 years. He has never watched football, but all of a sudden now, oh, look, a field goal.
Well, there's a
I don't
section of
know.
there's a section of Buffalo called Allentown.
Yeah.
There's like and now all of the banners for Allentown they have Josh in front of it, so it's like Josh Allentown. So you have to tell him that. He'll get a kick out of that probably.
Okay. I'll let him know. Hopefully these are code words that mean something.
Josh Allen is the
He's like,
quarterback.
okay,
I'm not a football person, but I pretend to be for my daughter's sake. So
there you go. Yeah, that's about what I'm doing
oh,
this year. I'm like, plus also it's like a serious 3 hour break of like him not needing anything because he's just like
yeah.
he's got his drink, he's got his chips, he's got his football, and I've got my freedom.
Yep.
It's
I
I've
love
never
it.
had like that kind of like what do they call them? The football? Are they football
Widows.
widows or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
never understood that, but now it's like, oh, oh darn, he doesn't need anything. Let me get
Three
these
hours,
chairs out.
3 hours to myself every weekend. What will ever shall I do with myself?
Yeah,
Yeah, I understand that
yeah,
for sure. That's
yeah.
so funny.
So hopefully I can make it, especially I love when you have Rochester because that in the fall, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, a Rochester fall is the best.
absolutely. Absolutely. Last year I took Marco I don't know how to say his last name, from
Uh-huh.
Costa Rica, and
Yeah,
Naisha Green. I took them up to Niagara Falls on the Sunday after. We had just neither one of, well, he had seen Niagara Falls before. She'd never been there and she'd never been to Canada. So she, has her passport. We had to leave him on Goat Island because he didn't have a visa, but that's okay. He had fun. I took her across the border. We took some pictures and did a little bit of souvenir shopping and then went back and picked him up. And she says to the border agent, "Can you stamp my passport?" He said, "We don't do that for American passports. I don't even have a stamp here," he says. She's like, "Oh."
oh,
She was so deflated.
oh, too funny.
It was funny. It was good. But
Yeah,
so I have a couple other goals for this year.
yeah.
So one goal is I want to, for 2025, because it's always too late already for this year, I want to publish a calendar with my photography
Oh
and have
nice.
maybe, Birds of Western New York or something, I don't know, calendar. And then I'd like to put together at least one course, but I've got my eye on creating 3 courses this year,
Yeah,
using LearnDash because that's, our thing.
yeah,
I'm gonna plan on doing a course on podcasting because I've been asked to do one for that.
yeah.
I want to put together a course on building your personal brand. And
Nice.
I'm working with some people at Stellar. I just posted the idea today, so don't hold me to it if it doesn't happen. But I think we're going to build a course on how to do affiliate marketing.
You know,
Yeah.
that'll be really popular. I know. Well, gosh, go on YouTube or even Twitter. My gosh, a lot of the affiliate marketers. Oh, I have so many ideas that I can funnel your way of like little
Okay.
ideas.
I love it.
Because, well,
Start
a
sending
lot of the
them.
Cadence stuff, there were a lot of Cadence affiliates who were doing affiliate marketing too. And I
Mhm.
learned a lot from them. They're really smart. So I've got people for you to talk to.
Awesome. I look forward to it. So I'm going to learn how to be a course creator because I've never done that, like online courses before. I've taught
I think
classes
that's
before, but
amazing.
it's a little different to put together something that just kind of lives on its own. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also going to do a case study on the process. So I'm going to be documenting the process as I go through creating my first course,
Oh,
and be able to write
nice.
about that and maybe even build a course on building courses. I don't know. The sky's the limit. I can inceptionize this thing. I don't think that's a word. As much as I want.
I love it.
Yeah, it should be fun.
I love
It
it.
should be fun. So yeah.
Well, I know you and I share a goal of doing a TED Talk
Yes,
one
I
of
do.
these days.
Do you have a
And I
topic?
think I'm getting one. So it's percolating.
I'm getting
Um,
one. Like it's coming in the mail.
well, it's more like a download.
Formulating. Yes, I
More
got
of
it.
a I want to do this thing. And so like what ends up happening is I'll see something and it like sparks interest and then all these serendipitous things start to happen and then boom, it's all like it's there. You just have to pay attention. It's like, I don't know, maybe I sound like a Mount Shasta. Can I just blame all this on Mount Shasta? Like
Absolutely.
downloads and everything. But
Yep.
it's almost like a spark of inspiration happens somehow. And then if I pay attention and I go with it, then all of these like serendipitous conversations and meetings and emails, and then I see something else, and all of these things start showing up and it kind of fills in like
Hmm.
almost like this paint by number. So it's coming. That's how I order
I love it.
from the universe. It's just kind of,
Waiting for my
I think I'd
download.
like, yeah, I think I'd like to do a TED Talk. Why not this year? I could
Could
do it
be.
next year, but why not this year? All right, I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about, but just setting the intention of like, I'm going to do this,
Hmm.
then I know the download will come and it'll just piece together. I love that kind of stuff. Like this
Me too.
whole new job with Chris Lemma at Motivations AI is the company, but Motivation Code is the product at one of the products. There's gonna be many more.
Hmm.
But that all happened like that, where I was just like, oh, wait a minute, this is who I am. I do this. This is how and then next couple days conversation with Chris, I'm like, oh, like all of the pieces just kind of came together. And
I
that was
love
like
that.
my sign of like, pay attention to this. This is
Hmm.
important. This is what you're supposed to do next. And yeah, it just, that's how it all it was magical the way it all came together. So I'm looking for that for my TED Talk. Magic. Maybe I'll
Magic.
talk about magic.
I love it. Have I told you my topic idea for TED Talk?
No, no.
So I know I've mentioned before that what a shy child I was. And like I was like wallflower material. Like I did not want attention on me at all as a kid until I got like eighth grade and like started to do stage productions and stuff like that and learned how lovely the limelight could be. But I have a theory of comfort zones.
Hmm.
And I think some people think about a comfort zone like an elastic band, like a big elastic band that you stand in the middle of, and you can stretch it to encompass certain things here and there that you want to include at a particular point in time. But just like elastic does, it goes back to that original size, and you're still in that same size comfort zone. I think comfort zones are concentric circles. Think of different size hula hoops. And your middle one you're standing in is your original comfort zone. And that's, for me, it was like the size of a postage stamp, and I was just on my tippy toe because I was so afraid of things. But then I could put my
Yeah.
foot down, and that comfort zone got a little bit bigger. And then when I stepped outside of that comfort zone, it expanded by the width of whatever that other stretch would have been. Now it encompassed everything that could be within that bigger one. And the more I stepped outside of that comfort zone, the bigger my comfort zone became because it wasn't just stretching and then coming back to where I was not afraid, but I could actually challenge myself, see that I could be comfortable at that
Yeah.
level of doing things, and then continue to grow it outside of that to the point where I'm pretty comfortable in any situation now, right? Um, and I have people say, like, how could you go on stage and talk? You've had people say that to you too, I'm sure, because public speaking is so
Sure.
terrifying to so many people. But
Sure.
I think once you do what we do, like I podcasts, I talk on stage, I
Yeah.
am not afraid of almost anything anymore, right? So comfort zones. So I think I could talk about that and really kind of help people think about how to challenge themselves to not just push their comfort zone, but step out of it and continue to increase those.
Right. Right. I love it.
I think that'd be a good TED
I
talk.
have a comfort zone story
Oh, tell
from
me.
so when in my youth, I joined this health club with my Max's dad, my
Mhm.
ex-husband. We joined this health club, and part of the thing was you had to go through this assessment when you first started. So he goes and does his with this like sweet little cheerleader girl who does this assessment for him. And I go and I get the Marine. And he's like, we're in like suburban Chicago, and he's like, I'm sick of all these cell phone talking, mocha drinking, SUV driving, uh, women with their fake hair. And like, he just starts going off, and I'm like, huh? And he's like, give me more. Like, he's literally drill sergeanting me. And he's like, do more. Comfort zones kill. Do I need to tell you how all these people in the suburb are going to die from their comfort zone? America is going to die from its comfort zone. That's why I'm moving. He's just like, I'm moving next week. I'm like, why couldn't you move this week? Like, thinking in my head, right?
Okay, so I'll be back next week after you're gone, sir.
I go home. Well, first I go to the shower and cry because I'm in so much pain, right? He just like drilled it into me. Comfort zones kill. Every time I did an exercise, comfort zones kill. Every time I do, now that I'm going to the health club with my daughter and I do an exercise that's even closely related to anyone that he had me do, I'm like, comfort
Triggered.
kill.
Triggered.
Totally triggered. But he's right, because when we do get comfortable, we lose, right? It's either you're growing and going into this new space, or if you just like I Mark, my husband, love him dearly, but his default is comfort. He wants more comfort. He doesn't want to do the work. It's hard. It's like all of this stuff. And I have to tell him, like, this is how you die. Like, I have to become the drill sergeant now.
Comfort zones kill, Mark.
Kill. I'm the drill sergeant. Like, who am I? So,
but it's true, right? So
I have
a small comfort zone can lead to complacency. If we're not willing to step outside of it, we've really limited ourselves to not only what we can do with our lives, but how much of the world we can see and how much we can interact with. So I think that there's a lot to train people about taking that deep breath and that leap of faith, step of faith, whatever you want to call it, outside of that boundary you've set for yourself, whether it's an inch outside or a mile outside, and making life that much richer for yourself, for sure.
Yes.
So that's my idea.
I love it. Well, that's where. Yeah, I love it. Well, if you do if you get like an actual in-person TED Talk, I'll be there with belts on. I'll be
I will let you know. Likewise, I will be there for yours. Whatever it is, once it's downloaded.
Awesome. Yeah, I got to get it first.
Yeah, this is gonna be.
Maybe that's it. Magic in comfort zones.
Talking to aliens.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe
goodness. You just never know. You never know. It could be. Maybe that's what magic is. It's just aliens at work and we're not seeing it. I don't know.
Could be. This could be the year that I see all this stuff on Twitter, all this. I wake up, what's trending? Aliens. Okay, great. Like, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm just like alert fatigued on the aliens thing, but if you're going to show up, like, this would be the year. This is a good year to show up. I'm waiting.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Oh, if you've listened to us this long, you must have goals and you must have some ideas and things that you want to accomplish this year. We would love to know what they are. Share them. You can share them privately. You can share them and tag us on Twitter or X or any of the other social platforms that I just can't even think of right now, but we would love to hear your ideas. Reply to the post that you see this on. Let us know what your goals are for this year and how we can cheer you on through WP Motivate, because that's what you are technically in the motivation business now. Like
I technically am.
We started this podcast in it a year and a half ago without even knowing that was going to be a thing. And look, it's just motivation's your gig. Who knew?
Talk about magic.
It is magic.
Kind of weird, huh?
The aliens were at work. Oh, anyway, we hope you all are starting off your 2024 right, with happiness and health, and looking forward to good things coming down the road for you. And we would love to be part of that journey, and we'd love to see you next week when we talk about who knows whatever comes to mind. Aliens, I don't know, whatever it'll be. But join us on our journey this year. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
This has been WP Motivate with Kathy Zant and Michelle Frechette. To learn more or to sponsor us, go to WPMotivate.com.